Water, you mentioned water. What do you think is the best option for water?
Look, we need to work with Western Bay.
Which you already do. You already do work with Western Bay.
Yeah, we do. But we, again, we've got an office in now Devonport Road. They've got an office on Cameron Road, and we have 2 CEOs, 2 head of waters, 2 head of transports. We've got 2 of everything. We duplicate in everything we do. So yes, we share pipes, but it just seems to make sense to me. Let's get together. We can make decisions. Look, they've got a wastewater treatment plant. We've got a wastewater treatment plant. We've got Waiari, which is in their district, but it's at the moment only providing Tauranga City with water. But it makes sense that we actually work together on those.
Well, because they're using a bore, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've literally got their. So this is number 1 road in Te Puke. They've got their bore on one side, which is providing them. We've got a state-of-the-art treatment plant on the other, which is providing Tauranga City's water.
So did we think about using a bore as well?
I'm not sure. That's
that was before your time.
That was well before my time.
But you can understand why they're sticking with their bore, because it's there and it works, isn't it? Because I understand they're not using Waiari at the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment. But when we're making infrastructure decisions, like we've got a huge growth cell potentially out there at Te Timu. There's a fast track proposal at Bell Road. There's another one at Tara Road. So those 3 areas, we've got to service them. They're actually closer to Te Puke, so it would make a lot of sense to potentially work in together and maybe put our sewage that way rather than bring it back down to Tamanga, up by Bay.
I thought the Te Puke sewage already goes to Tamanga, or does it go somewhere else?
No, Te Puke sewage, they've got a treatment plant there. It goes out into the Kaituna River.
Oh, does it? Oh, that'd make people happy. Where is it? You don't want to swim downstream then?
It's hopefully
97% proof.
It's
97% proof.
Yeah. Proof.
It's hopefully below Waiari.
Yes, hopefully. They used to have a lot of trouble with the freezing works. The water used to be red below the freezing works, red and brown. So it's all another pollution problem, isn't it? So what about, there's a very optimistic business case for multi-council CCO. Do you think that's accurate? What do you think of the business? Are you confident in it, or what do you think?
Look, it's again devil in the detail. I'm not necessarily confident in the modelling. I personally believe that the savings should be actually larger than they are, and that's just that efficiency.
Well, to justify the hassle. And there's so much uncertainty too, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I'll accept that. It's a going into the unknown. It's all about how you set it up, and you think about something like we've heard Wayne Brown talk a lot about CCOs in Auckland, and the one that he actually doesn't hate is water care. And it's about getting the structure right and setting it up. That was a little bit, it's only just been sorted out by the government, and Wayne Brown is making sure it's capitalised, and now it's got that balance sheet separation. Before that, it was still not working to its efficiency because they relied on the council making decisions to fund it, and it's very easy. But I do see some benefits also in taking the politics out of delivering water. In the fact that water is something all of you, when you turn on the tap, you expect water to come out. When you flush
preferably
your
with
toilet,
no fluoride in
it. When you flush your toilet, you hope it doesn't sort of back up. But there's no reason for if that can be run well outside of a political environment. They've just got to deliver the water where it's needed, when it's needed.
But when you say political environment, surely the council could run it well. The council doesn't have to be too political, do they? I mean, water's they've had some very good management in Tauranga over the years.
Oh, absolutely. Tauranga has done a great job, and that is the one thing. Our infrastructure is fantastic. Our people are great. We've delivered a fantastic service, and we've delivered some of the best water in the country. But I think of somewhere, you know, good on all the past politicians that have put money into it, because it's very easy. We're spending $120 million next year on water, right? And it would be very easy for us when we say, oh, we want to get the rates down, let's just not build any water infrastructure, because I can tell you, you wouldn't know the difference.
Not straight away, anyway.
And you know, as a political leader, I'm going to be well gone before that water's starting to piss out of a street. You know,
have you been talking to what's the Wellington?
Tory
Whānau.
Look, I have a lot of sympathy for her, because she did not create the issue that they have today, but she's having to deal with it, and this was decisions made for the last 20 years. So, you know, that's the issue that you've got from a political point of view. You know, it is easy to, because you can't see it, and you don't notice it until there's an issue, and that's probably 15, 20 years into the future. So, you know, we had a Tomu down in Papamoa, in Golden Sands Drive. You know, that was a pretty big issue. That was a pipe that was 5 metres under the ground. It's pretty hard to fix, but you know, that was...
Would the pipe leak, did it?
Yeah, so the pipe was leaking. It was a wastewater pipe.
It washed
and it's just, over time it's just the ground's gone and the whole thing's sunk down. So, you know, that's the real issue if you're not... That was quite a new pipe. It was more an issue, obviously, when they installed it, didn't do a good enough job. But, you know, those are the issues that you can have if you don't invest. You know, and that's why it's important to keep investing.
It's locally known as Red Cone City.
Yeah. So but they could also do the job very well in-house. So what happens in 10 years' time if the business case turns out to be grossly wrong?
Yeah, look, I don't think it will prove to be wrong, and just, you know, that's just my looking at it from a opportunity where you've got two councils doing exactly the same thing. You know, basically around each other. So I can't see...
But you don't need a CCO to sort of coordinate that.
No, not necessarily, and you know,
because it does make sense to share some services. And where does the benefit?
Yeah, we treat their sewage from MRRR at the moment. You know, that's a shared services model. So look, there's definitely options there if you know, we want to run it in-house. You know, that is absolutely an option.
And you don't have that extra overhead of a chief executive and a financial officer and your own separate office. And
maybe we'll just merge the two councils.